Hello Kings, it's Richard here. Yes, you may recognise me. I'm making this little video because you may know that I'm going off on sabbatical later this year, and so I'm doing a bit of planning, and this is part of it. Not entirely sure what the dates are going to be yet of the sabbatical, but more likely to be over the summer holidays. And as we prayed a few weeks ago, there was this sense of God speaking to us that rather than the sabbatical, my sabbatical being a time of stagnation for the church, it'd actually be a time of growth and accelerated growth in the individuals in the church. So I'm excited about that, and excited to see new giftings and new things being released in people. And so I want to do as much as I can to facilitate that and encourage people and nurture people in the things that you've got to offer. So this is part of it. Now, I've been reading through Exodus recently, and got to Exodus chapter 35, and it's the bit where Moses is preparing to build the tabernacle. And I see it, as I was reading it, I just saw it as like a beautiful picture, really, of how the church should work. You can read through Exodus 35 if you want, but basically I'll summarize it. There was a call for the people to be generous and to give of their possessions. And in verse 5 it says, "Take from among you a contribution to the Lord. Whoever is generous in heart, let him bring the Lord's contribution." And then there followed a list of all the things that were needed. So Moses gave a sort of wish list, if you like, of the things he needed for making the tabernacle and making the priest garments and making the things that were going to go in the tabernacle. And then there's a call for skillful people to give of their talents. And then the congregation departs, and in verse 20 it says they come back, and they came, everyone whose heart was stirred in him and everyone whose spirit was moved in him, and they brought the Lord's contributions to be used for the tent of meeting, all its service, and the holy garments. So they came, both men and women. And then it lists the kind of things they brought. They brought all kinds of gold jewelry, different kinds of threads, animal skins, silver and bronze, acacia wood. The women spun different yarns of linen and onyx stones and spices and oils. And it seemed to all the men and women, those whose heart had been moved to bring for the work of the Lord, they came and they brought a free will offering. Now, I was reading this, and it just really struck me, because I've had this, I suppose we all do, but we have this sort of Western modern way of thinking. And I imagine if you're going to build the Lord something special, like the tabernacle was such a special thing, and it was, as they were building it, you would probably go and find some really special materials to build it with. Go and source the most high quality things from the best marketplaces. Go to find the best gold from the best marketplace, and go and find the best wood from the best ancient timber merchant. But it seems that the tabernacle is much more organic than that. The tabernacle isn't made from lots of, well, I suppose you could call them superficial materials that look nice on the outside, but it's just made from people's possessions. It's made from things that have personal connections and have significance to the people that are contributing things. So it isn't like this soulless thing that's made from anonymous bits and pieces that have been bought from different places, but actually it has a soul before it even starts, because it's connected with the people, because it's made with their stuff, ordinary people's possessions. So they bits of their jewelry, bits of their thread, bits of their wood. So the tabernacle would have been, some ladies' earrings would be used for the gold for covering the altar, or some of the wood would have been contributed, would have been made to make the framework of the tent, or some of the thread that was contributed, maybe something that would come out of that had been spun by just your average person, or average person had just given this piece of thread, and that was being made into the priestly garments, and it's all coming together. So everyone has a share in it, and everyone has some kind of participation in it. And I just really feel that at the moment that's speaking into how we build our local church. It's built together with the offerings of the people from the congregation. We don't go out to, I don't know if these, well, some churches are a bit like this. It seems anyway, like they've gone out to some fancy Christian marketplace and found some perfect Christian people and from the outside and put them in and made this church a sort of ready-made perfect place with perfect people. That's just not who we are. We're a local church made up of real ordinary folk like you and me, real and ordinary, but we're holy people. Remember, we are holy people. We're God's holy people. But as the church offers itself and people offer things of themselves, this gets built in some kind of a patchwork of the different offerings, and this beautiful patchwork evolves of the church as we come together in Christ. Peter wrote in his first letter, he says, "As you come to him, the living stone, rejected by men, but chosen and precious in God's sight, you also, like living stones, are being built into a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood, offering spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ." So I'd like to challenge you, really, to consider what you can offer the church. What can you bring as an offering to contribute to the building up of the church? Even now, as I'm preparing to go on sabbatical, I'm starting to write a list of things that I do that people could help with while I'm away. And already some people have actually offered things that they said, well, I can do this while you're away, I can do that while you're away, and they've thought creatively how they can help out. And you may also be able to offer things from the list of things I say I normally do. You could offer to help with those things, but you also might take this opportunity to think, well, I could offer something else, something that, not necessarily that I do already, but something else that would bless the church or that would facilitate the outreach of the church. It's all about coming back to that theme. If you're here a long, long time ago, we talked about being contributors, not just consumers. It's something we talked about a while ago, but it's still relevant to now. So just like in this passage, just want to pray that your hearts are moved, your spirits are stirred, that generosity springs forth in you, and that rather than think, oh, I can't offer this or I can't offer that, because let's be honest, not everyone's going to preach while I'm away. That's not everyone's thing to offer, and that's fine. But rather than say, oh, but I can't do this or I can't do that, why not ask, what can I offer? What have I got that I can bring? And for some people in that Old Testament passage, it was a bit of thread. For some people, it was a large amount of wood or gold. But everyone contributed in one way or another. So I just want to encourage you to ask yourself, what can I offer? And you may also want to help other people find what they can offer themselves. So you may be able to say to somebody, I can see you're really good at this, or you've got that to offer, because often people don't see in themselves or are maybe shy to offer the things that they have, when actually everybody else thinks, no, they'd be really good at that. So encourage one another and let's build church together. And I think it's exciting. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this all pans out. So I'm just going to leave you with one of my favourite verses. Again, I think I preached on this when I first started here at King's, but comes from Judges chapter 5. Not necessarily the most well-known verse in the Bible, but I love it. Judges chapter 5, it says, when the leaders lead in Israel, when the people willingly offer themselves, bless the Lord.